Hey everybody, I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. Peach Cobblenero. From Eyes to X's. It's my friend Tad Britton. Thank you, Tad. Alright, so let me tell you a little bit about this, you guys. Let me give you got a letter from Tad. It said, "Hi Johnny, as promised, here is this year's selection of hot sauces. Made from their own garden peppers." So they grow their own peppers. It's kind of cool. Didn't use any binders or emulsifiers, so you'll have to shake it up. I always do before use. We also recommend that you keep these sauces refrigerated, even though the sauces are fermented. There are no chemical preservatives, just salt, vinegars, and lime juice. His first 2 bottles are gone already. Short shelf life around these parts. All right. Please give your honest opinion and advice or suggestions for continued evolution and improvement of our Eyes to X's brand. Thank you, Dad. All right. So, in this one, I like the looks of it. It's got a beautiful color. Let's see if you can see the color. It's very, very pretty. It's kind of a thin sauce. Fermented habaneros and garlic. Peaches, lime juice, rice vinegar, salt, and filtered water. Left my inhaler in my room. Oh well. I'll be alright. Alright. I really like fermented sauces. You guys know that. This is going to have a flow restrictor on it. So we're going to take that off. Ooh. Wow. The aroma is fantastic. One more shake. All right. Very strong garlic aroma. I'm not getting the peaches in this. The garlic is very, very strong. All right, so we're gonna taste this. I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story. It's sort of funny. It wasn't very funny at the time. It's funny now. The aroma is the same on the spoon and out of the bottle. All right, so from Tad Britton. Eyes to X's hot sauce, peach Cobblenero. I'm Johnny Scoville. This is Chasetheheat. Just a little more. Great garlic flavor, very strong in the garlic. In fact, it's strong enough in the garlic that I'm really not getting the peaches that much. That's not true. I am. Hang on. I'm getting the peaches more in the finish than I am up front. Let me try it one more time. Maybe not. No. I can taste the peaches. I'd like to taste the peaches a little more. It's got great consistency. I'm mostly getting, you're getting influence of the peach, not a real strong peach flavor. But I'm definitely picking up the great habanero flavor, and the garlic is very strong. The garlic's very strong in this. Don't have a problem with that. I like strong garlic. He asked me any suggestions for continued evolution, Tad. I'd like to taste the peach a little bit more in this. The consistency I like. The mouth feels great. Good balance of the salt. The only thing I'd like more is a little bit more peach. That said, it's still a good sauce. Let's talk about the heat. And then we'll tell you a funny airplane story. It kind of ties into this month. Excuse me. The heat on this, for me, it might be a 1. So for somebody who's not really accustomed, it'd be about midway maybe. I mean, I can tell there's heat to it. It's got a little bit of a sting, but I think the average person would find it. I mean, this is, you know what makes the sauce good? Anybody could use it. It's got great flavor. I don't think it's going to get any higher than that for my heat. So about halfway for a non-chili head, 4 or 5 maybe. All right, so let me tell you this funny story. I'm getting ready to fly to Australia on the 7th. I thought it was the 8th. It's the 7th of February. I'm flying to Australia. Desiree Diamond's coming with me. She's going to be shooting and filming a lot. We lost so much great footage that I could have shot in the Philippines, but I was by myself and I couldn't really just stick my camera in someone's hand and say, follow me around. That would be a bummer. So, but at any rate, I paid a little more money on our tickets so that we don't have anybody in front of us at extra legroom. We're on a door, the exit aisle, emergency exit, that's what I should say. So the reason I'm bringing that up is I got about 20, I told the story on the 25-hour live feed, but a lot of you guys haven't heard it. I was taking a flight meeting Tommy, my brother. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time. And he was meeting me in Dallas for a business meeting. So we get on the plane. It's a really short flight from Austin to Dallas. Just like the plane gets to altitude and then it kind of starts its descent. Really short flight, like an hour, I think. So I'm on the window seat. I'm in the middle. And the person, the flight attendant comes up and she said, you guys all, they needed a verbal yes. You can't just give them a head nod. They said, you're in the exit row. If something happens, are you able and willing to assist? And you have to say yes. So all 3 of us said yes. So we didn't think another thing of it. We're kind of doing our own thing. And it's I can't, MD-80, I think it was. It was one of those planes. It was a propeller plane. I haven't been on one of those since. But they had had a few crashes in the past couple of years with that plane. No big deal though. We get the plane takes off. We get to altitude, and the plane, it was really an odd thing. The plane, you know, I've been in a million flights. The plane wasn't flying this way. It was doing this. As it's flying, it's kind of going like this. I could feel, you know, you could feel the plane doing that. I was like, kind of sensed something was weird. I didn't say anything. And the pilot gets on and says, ladies and gentlemen, this is the message a pilot thinks he's never going to say, and this is the message as a passenger you think you're never going to hear. But we're having a problem with the aircraft. I was just like, wow. And he said there was water in the tailpiece of the plane that was freezing. It had frozen. So it was making he goes, it's making it a little bit more than sluggish, the controls. And he said, it's concern enough that we, you know, we're in a state of emergency. We're going to have an emergency landing in Dallas. So everybody's just, all of a sudden you can hear murmurs. Everybody's kind of looking around. You can hear like the whole plane kind of talking to each other. You know, it was kind of weird. And so the flight attendant gets up front and says that as we're landing, she's going to stand up front. She's going to yell, head down, head down. And she's going to yell at us to assume the position. And the position is, this is what they told us. You grab the headrest, you cross your hands, I don't know why. You grab the headrest, and you put your head between your arms. And you keep your head down. And so I'm like, okay, learn that. So then it was weird because there was a flight attendant, all of them were flight attendants. Then a flight attendant, a guy, comes over to our seat. He goes, all right. Actually, was that girl? She said, you thought all you had was extra leg room. You got a job now. And they said, forget your names. You're number 1. They pointed to this guy. They're all, a few of us were men. He goes, you're number 1, you're number 2, and you're number 3. And I'm like, okay. And she's, it was a woman. Now that I remember it. It was a woman who said this. She said, as the flights, if this plane were to crash, and I'm looking around thinking, why? You know, you aren't supposed to say words like that on an airplane. If this plane were to crash, your job, number 1, is to open that door. Number 2 and number 3, your job is to keep everybody off, number 1, because everybody's going to be crowding them. So I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this is crazy. You don't hear that. You know, they don't tell you this. So they said, number 2, your job, if number 1 can't open that door, number 2, you throw one out of the way and you open that door. Number 2, or number 3, you keep everybody off number 2 while he gets that door open. You understand that? And we're like, yep. He said, number 3, if number 2 can't open that door, I said, number 2 can open that door. Don't you worry about it. 2's got this. He said, but if you can't, you open the door and do the best you can. I said, and then he says, what happens if I can't open the door? A dumb question to ask. We'll get the door open. So anyway, they go, the plane's going on. We still have like a little bit of time because we started our descent. So we still got some time. The guy sitting next to me opens his phone. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm calling my wife. I said, no, you're not. He goes, yeah, I am. I said, no, you're not. Put your phone away. I said, nobody's calling their wives. You married? We're all married. No one's calling their wives. So he put his phone away. And so as we're coming in for the landing, now this is where they kind of switched. There was all women. And then at the front, there's a guy standing there. Although I don't see any of the women flight attendants. It's a guy now. You can tell he's a flight attendant. He's got the garb on, the outfit there. So we're coming in. I forgot about this part. Right before we're coming in for the landing, the pilot gets on. He talked a few times. We're about 30 minutes out or whatever. And we were coming in for the landing, and the pilot says, ladies and gentlemen, this is the pilot speaking, one way or another, in about 30 seconds, we're going to be on the tarmac. That's what he said, one way or another. That's a stupid thing to say. I remember thinking, what a they didn't teach you that in flight school. What a stupid thing to say. Anyway, so we're coming in. People are holding hands and praying and stuff. It was pretty crazy. So we're coming for the landing. And I was actually on this side of the plane. I keep saying I was on this side of the plane, not this side. It was on this side. I was in the middle. So we're coming in for the landing, and the flight attendant is up front. He starts yelling, "Assume position." So everybody's doing this and putting their head down. So I grabbed the seat and I'm looking out the window. And he's looking at me, he's going, head down. I'm like, no. He goes, head down. I'm like, no, you can't make me. My head's up. That's it. I was going to look at the ground. So I'm watching the ground come. When we hit, I'm going to brace myself, depending on how hard we hit. So he's yelling at me to put my head down, and I'm just not doing it. So I look, and we land, and everything's fine. And everybody starts cheering. It's like, I think I've only been on one other flight where people cheered when the plane landed. But it landed fine. It was no big deal. It was a normal landing. It wasn't hard. It was touchdown like every other flight I've ever been on. So we get to the end of the runway, and it was like everybody was like cheering. It was amazing. And we take a left to go to the disembark. What do they call that? To the whatever it's called. And I look out the window down from where we had just came, and I'm telling you, there were like 3 or 4 ambulances, a bunch of fire trucks, a bunch of cops, all driving towards us with their lights on. And that's when I thought, wow, that was like for real. So anyway, we get off the plane. I ended up writing a letter complaining about the flight and the pilot's, lack of bedside manner. You don't say one way or another we're going to be on the tarmac. It was a dumb thing to say. So they actually gave me a free round-trip ticket anywhere in the U.S. Anyway, so I'm meeting Tommy there, and Tommy was flying in from Salt Lake. So he lands, and I'm walking down, and I see him, and he's walking towards me. His whole one of his legs is covered with soaking wet. Just one of them. I said, he walks up to me, and I hadn't got our bags yet, but he walks up to me, and he's like, "You're not going to believe the flight we just had." I said, "No, dude, listen, we just had a emergency landing. You're not going to be the flight I just had." So he's like, "No, seriously. What happened was we hit turbulence and the whole drink went up and just landed on my leg." I'm like, "Tommy, you're not listening to me, dude. We had an emergency landing." I told him a story. It was pretty funny. But that's it. So now when we go to Australia, I got the same situation. So I'm in the emergency exit, which is great because here's the truth of it. If something were to happen, I want to have an active role. I want to be doing something. I don't want to be sitting there, relying on somebody else doing something. I want to be one of those people making the stuff happen. So it's kind of cool that we're in that seat. But more leg room, still taking the blood thinners, so I'm going to be fine. But we're certainly going to have lots of great footage on this. All right, you guys. Thanks for listening to my story. In the description box, see a link for I's to X's. All right. Reach out to him. You can talk to him a little bit. See what you can do. You're also going to see a link for the Tube of Terror. There are still sweatshirts available, and the new t-shirts with a new logo on it. The logo is cool. Check them out. Just click on it, take a look. Limited time. There's also t-shirts for the Tube of Terror if you conquered 1 tube or 2 tubes. There's some cool t-shirts for that. And obviously a link for Tad. Right here, you'll see the pepper. The family crest. All right, click that. You're part of the family, right? My journey is your journey, and your journey is mine. You know. Click that bell for notification, and we'll notify you when we upload new videos. Like the videos if you like them. Dislike. Give me a downvote if you don't. I got thick skin. Thanks for watching. Thanks for talking to me. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was Chasetheheat.